Hey everyone, welcome to part 1 of my Wizard of Oz 5-part tutorial series. I'm going to show you how to make all of the Wizard of Oz donuts that I have. And this was requested by a few people, and I really like doing these tutorial series because Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies, and Alice in Wonderland is too. And I did the Alice in Wonderland tutorial series as well, where I showed you how to make 2 cupcakes and the drink me bottle from the movie. So if you haven't seen that yet, please check it out. And that beep was my oven preheating. Anyway, this is what the donuts look like. This is what I'll be showing you how to make today. Let's see if I can get better lighting. This is the Dorothy donut. She has braids and glitter for her ruby slippers. Here is the witch donut. Tin Man with his heart. And here is the scarecrow. And here is the lion. And he has a crown. So these donuts took me quite a while to make. I didn't have any kind of tutorial or anything to follow. I just sort of, kind of made them up as I went along. And I haven't tried to film this yet or anything, so I'll just see how it goes. I'll try to edit things to make it fit into the 15 minutes or however long that it takes. But okay, to make the Dorothy donut, you are going to need some oven baked clay. I use Sculpey, and you can use any kind of oven baked clay as long as it says oven bake, and the baking instructions will be on the package. The colors that you're going to need are tan for the base of the donut, blue, any kind of blue that you want to use. The color blue that I'm using is called light blue pearl. If you're using Sculpey, that's the color that I use. And you're going to need a brown, and I think this is hazelnut, or no, this is suede brown. This is the color that I have for Sculpey. And you could use red clay in place of the glitter if you don't want to use glitter. But if you do want to use glitter, and I recommend it because it's really pretty and sparkly, and it makes it stand out from the others really well. If you use that, you're going to need a glaze of your choice. I use triple thick and some red glitter. This is really cheap. I got it from Joann's for 99 cents. I forgot to mention the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need something to make the hole in the donut, and I just use the store-bought tool like this, but you can use a toothpick or any tool like that. And then to make these little indents on her bow, if you can see them, I use this tool, but again, a toothpick or anything like that will work. Okay, the first thing that you're going to want to do is take your tan clay, and I have this measured out into like a tablespoon, I think, which it's a good idea to measure your clay, because if you're wanting them to all be the same size, or if you're making several of them, then yeah, measuring it means that they'll all be the same size. So flatten your donut base down into a thick disc like this. Okay, so that's okay, that size. And then you want to take your tool that you're using to make the center of the donut and just push down through the center like this, and then move it around. And then repeat with the other side. And that's the basic donut base. Then I'm going to make the top of the hair, not the braids, but I'm going to just make this the top part of the donut here. So take your brown clay. Again, this is brown suede, I think. Suede brown is what it's called. And just pull off a hunk of clay. And flatten this. You want it to be sort of a round donut shape as well. And just flatten that. I have a store-bought acrylic roller that I like to use, but I mean, you can use anything like this or something like that would work. An ink pen, anything that you have. You don't have to buy any special tools for this. Okay, so you want to make sure that it will fit on the top of the donut, and as you can see, this fits pretty well at the top, so just make sure that it's wide enough. So what I'm going to do is, see how it only covers, and the lighting is horrible, the brown only covers half of the donut, so I'm just going to cut to the top of this. So I just have that piece there. And put that on the top of your donut and press down on the sides and across the bottom. Okay, and to ensure that it gets down into the hole, so it's not just like a flap covering the hole, but you know, you should still be able to see the hole, just go ahead and repeat the step like this. Okay. Now before we do the braids, we're going to have to make the blue part of like her dress. So do the same thing that you did with the brown clay and take your blue and flatten it down into a flat disc. Okay. And this part right here should be good. So you just want to cut that like you did with the brown clay. Just make like a half circle. And attach that to the bottom half of the donut. Smoothing down the sides. And make sure that it connects here in the middle. So there's not like a big gap, you want it to sort of connect with the brown. And then repeat the step with the tool that you're using to punch through the hole. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Just a donut with brown and blue. Now we can go ahead and do the most difficult part, which is the braids. This is actually, 3 strands of clay that I made into braids, so that was the most time-consuming part. So just take some of your brown and make a long snake with it. Just roll it like this until you get a long, skinny snake. Okay, I have mine rolled out into this long snake. And if you have an extruder, that would have been the perfect time to use it. I have one, but I'm just showing how to do this project if you don't have anything like that. So now that you have your clay rolled out like that, you're going to want to cut it into 3 pieces so you can braid them. Okay. And what I do, just taper the ends because you're going to have to connect them. It would be really hard to braid them if they're not connected at one end, so just taper the ends by rolling them really skinny. And line them up and just kind of pinch them together like that. So you have this strand here that's ready to braid, and this is a lot thicker than, you know, the original. I wanted to kind of make it easy to see. So just go ahead and, I know this is going to be hard to see on camera, but just go ahead and braid this strand of clay very carefully, because if you're too rough with it, it's going to break. So you want it to be sort of a tight braid. You don't want a lot of gaps in there. Okay, so just keep braiding until you have the whole strand braided. Okay, this is all that I'm going to braid for this strand. It's getting really thin right here, and it's probably going to break, so this right here is going to be plenty to do her hair. So you just want to cut the end, wherever the end of your braid is, cut that and sort of pinch it together just until we're ready to measure it. And take your braid and sort of lay it over top of the donut and find out where you want it to end on the sides. I like it to go down into the blue part a little bit, so you can, you know, if you just keep it in the brown part of the donut, it won't really stand out as much as hair. So I want it to be down into the blue part a little bit, so I'm just going to pinch that so I know where to cut it. And just cut the ends and pinch them so they don't come unbraided. Now you're left with this part. And so that it looks like it's parted at the top, instead of just a braid laying over, go ahead and cut this braid in half. And pinch the ends of that also. And just apply that to the top. I like to put it right where the brown meets the tan. That's where I put it. You don't have to push this really hard around here. I just sort of tap it into place, but I push the top of this so that it stays. Okay, now we have to make the bows for her hair. So for this, you're going to need these two little sections of clay, and we're going to tear these into 3 pieces each. You're going to need 2 sides of the bow and then the center piece. So I just usually sort of make a little roll like that and then cut it into 3 parts. Like that. And do it for the other side. Okay. Go ahead and roll all of those little pieces into balls.